Hi, it's the Child Custody Guy. Thank you for joining us. One of the topics that I want to talk about today is your lawyer's resume. You know, very often these attorneys are a necessary evil in these cases, and I say that, you know, I've gotten some riff on Amazon for my book, Going After Professionals, talking about how incompetent they can be, how biased they can be. Well, one of the things that people need to look at is how custody is decided. In a lot of jurisdictions, it's decided by a therapist. And that's really important because lawyers are not therapists. Judges are not therapists. Judges are lawyers in robes. And then, of course, there's evidence that you must submit. Lawyers are not detectives. They don't run around collecting evidence all the time. They may not be trained in collecting evidence. They're not trained in personality disorders unless they got a degree in psychology. So sometimes there's a gap in their education on how child custody is decided and those components. And I fill those in because I've been trained in psychology, I'm an investigator, and I help people put this evidence together and how to collect it. But sometimes it's hard to get the lawyer to listen, so that can be a pain in the rear too. But just bear in mind that just because they've been practicing law for 30 years versus performing law for 30 years does not mean they know how to work a child custody case. If they are not collecting evidence, if they're not taking depositions, if they're not subpoenaing records, if they're just going to leave it all up to an expert, I think you should find another attorney. And I help people form a plan, and then what we do is we interview the attorney to see if they're on board with that plan. And if they're not, we don't hire them. There's no reason to waste your money. The other thing that I instruct my clients to do is to get a contract basically with the attorney. That means that before you write them the big check, you say, here's a checklist of things that I want done in my case. I want to subpoena the cell phone records, or I want to interview this witness, or I want to file this motion, or I need to locate this person. Whatever it is, you need to, and you have that list, and you want that lawyer to agree to that list and memorialize it on paper, either writing you a letter or writing you an email, and it says, yes, I agree to doing all these things, getting a custody evaluation, taking a deposition, subpoenaing records, getting school records, whatever it is that you need, and whatever plan we come up with, if you call me, I'll help you with it. And then we decide whether we're going to have that lawyer work for us or not, because they work for you. And your children's life is in the balance on these things. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for allowing me to use my opinion and experience here and my recommendations. And you can go to my website, childcustodyguide.com. Talk to you soon.